Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we're gonna fit this one, a diesel heater. So this will be our main heating system because at some point in the past the original gas heater, the Truma or the Carver one, has been removed. So this will be our only way to keep the van warm while we're off-grid. If we're on a campsite, we have access to the main grid and it's not a problem running an electric heater. But this one here is gonna help us when we're off-grid. But how this works? So basically it burns diesel to produce heat. Then with the fan it's gonna draw cold air from the outside, in this case inside the motorhome. It heat up the air and then blow the air from here. So that's how you got the heat. It's not very difficult to install, but there are a few things that you must keep in mind. So this part here, it's for the burner itself, and the air inlet and the exhaust, they need to stay outside. They must stay outside. Basically what we're gonna do is to use one of these. That's a turret plate. So we're gonna drill, not sure if you can see it, we're gonna drill a hole on the floor. We're gonna put this plate on the floor and the heater is gonna go on it. So if you look at from one side, this turret here is gonna be inside the floor. We've got an insulated floor, so it's around 6 centimeters, and that's gonna be a protection for the floor. And as you can probably see, all this part is sealed from the inside, so you won't have, in case of a leak from the exhaust, you won't have any gas coming in. So that's the first job. The second one is fitting the fuel tank. We're gonna use his own fuel tank, so we're gonna run fuel line from the tank to the heater, and then we'll do all the electrical connection and everything. So first job first, let's drill the floor. Okay, I drilled the floor and now we're gonna use some paint just to protect the surface from humidity and water and whatever can come from underneath, and then we're gonna fit the plate. Now using some heat resistant silicone, we go all around the turret, making sure it's all sealed. Okay, the turret is in place. Now I left it all night just to dry out, and we can now fit the heater on. And that's the heater in place. It's got 4 bolts holding it from underneath. Now we go back outside, we connect the air inlet and the exhaust and the fuel line. After that we can focus on the electrical part. Okay, now the heater is in place. Now the first part we're gonna fit is the air inlet. So I've already replaced the poor quality Jubilee clip that came with the kit with some better quality ones. So now I'm gonna fit it. Unfortunately guys, the weather kicked in pretty bad in the last few days, so I couldn't film everything, but basically what I've done is fitting the air inlet. It goes towards the middle of the camper and then with the tip pointing slightly backwards. Then I fitted the fuel line. It comes with from the pump, and going along with the inlet for the first part, and then joining the fuel pump and then all the way back to the fuel tank, but we'll see that later. And the last thing I've done is the exhaust, and I replaced the one that was in the kit with this double layer stainless steel, and it runs towards the back of the van and the tip is pointing outside. Then I'll show you better from another angle. One thing I want to tell you about the exhaust is to try as much as possible to keep it going downward, to let all the condensation find its way out. Okay, now let's talk about the fuel tank. Here is our gas locker, and the fuel tank ideally will go here. I already passed the fuel line, so I'm gonna grab the fuel tank now, see if it fits, and we'll see from there. Okay, for the fuel tank we need a little modification, and so that's the fitting that comes with the kit, and it's supposed to be like here, but that comes with a problem, and that is that usually this is not really great quality, it's a bit of crap. So what it does is starts with, over time it starts leaking from here, and the problem you have is that since the fuel tank usually is almost full, if it's leaking from here, it means it's gonna spill all the fuel, and you can't do anything about it. So what we're doing is to fit this bit here. That's a sender that comes from the top. So we're gonna fit it like this. So with this kit, it's not really a problem if it's leaking because it's on top, there's no fuel here. And this way, whatever you need to do with the fuel tank, if you need to disconnect the line, anything, it won't spill any fuel. Anyway, the first thing to do is to drill the top and fit the sender, and so I'll do that first, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the fuel line. Okay, that's the result. Could have been worse. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go back outside and let's try to find a place for it in the locker. Okay, here we have our fuel tank, so we can easily connect the sender on here. So that's the fuel line that already passing through the grid on there, going underneath and to the fuel filter. So now I'm just gonna clean this up, make it a bit neater, and we can connect the fuel pump. Okay, so that's the wiring loom, and let's see, we got this one here. That's the main connector that goes to the connect to the heater, and we have the power supply for the heater. That's the positive with this fuse, and that's the negative. Then we have two other plugs. One is for the fuel pump, and the second one, this one here, that's for the controller. So for the fuel pump, instead of drilling a hole that big just to get from the inside to the fuel pump, I'm trying to remove the pin from this connector, drill like a 6mm hole in the floor, pass the wiring through the floor, and then reconnect the plug on the other side. Okay, so these are the two pins. As you can see, that's the plug, and I've marked, because they're the same color, so I've marked one with number 2, and I don't know if you can see it, but the one on the left is marked as 2 as well, so we should be alright. And now I'm gonna drill the floor, and we're passing the wire through. Now the hole I'm gonna drill for the wiring loom will be probably here, and that allow me to connect the fuel pump, and that's the only part of the wiring loom that needs to go outside. and that's the fuel pump connected. Okay, so I've plugged everything in just temporarily, just to see if it works, and let's see. Okay, it's now 5 minutes from the first start, and we got some nice and warm air coming through. Now I still need to work out all the settings on the controller, and of course to tidy everything up, put the controller in his place, but hey, it's working. Okay, one last thing before to do the real test is fitting this one. CO detector. Carbon monoxide is a lethal gas and you can't smell it. So if anything goes wrong with the heater, this is the only thing that is gonna save your life. So we're gonna put ours on here, so it's right in the middle of the sleeping area. Okay, it's nice to have our interiors finally back together. So just to show you guys, we got one air vent here, then we run through the cupboard, and on this side in the toilet we got the second one, all nice and neat. As usual guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. It was the first technical one for us, so let us know in the comments, and there are more things to do on LC, so I'll be more than happy to share them with you. And I'll put anyway in the description all the links to the parts we use, from the heater to the air vents, everything is there. And make sure to follow us on Instagram as well, because we put a lot of other things we can do on YouTube. And subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.